Thanks so much for joining us here on this Friday at noon. The 14-year-old accused of opening fire at his Georgia high school and his father made their first court appearances this morning in connection to that mass shooting. The teen charged as an adult with 4 counts of murder. His father faces the same charges in that rampage. It killed 2 students and 2 teachers. ABC's Morgan Norwood takes us inside today's hearings.
Colt Gray, the 14-year-old accused in the mass shooting at Appalachian High School in Georgia, making his first court appearance. The teenager charged as an adult with 4 counts of felony murder. The judge laying out his rights, and Gray did not enter a plea. Less than an hour later, his father Colin, also arraigned, charged with 2 counts of second-degree murder, 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter, and 8 counts of cruelty to children. The 54-year-old nervously rocking back and forth in his chair.
These charges stem from Mr. Gray knowingly allowing his son, Colt, to possess a weapon.
Sources tell ABC News investigators believe Colin gifted his teenage son with an AR-15 style rifle for Christmas, which authorities say he used to kill 2 teachers and 2 students. This video showing a long gun on the floor in a hallway inside the school.
We're heartbroken. A young person brought a gun into a school, committed an evil act, and he took lives.
ABC News also learning of potential missed warning signs. The FBI confirming they received anonymous tips as early as May of last year about a disturbing post Gray is believed to have made on the social media site Discord, where they say he had possibly threatened to shoot up a middle school the next day. According to the Jackson County Sheriff's Office, he denied making the post during an interview at the time. His father telling investigators there were guns at the house, but his son did not have unsupervised access, adding that his son was being picked on at school. Colt was never arrested, but later transferred to this new county, where authorities say Wednesday he terrorized his own peers.
Desks, chairs, whatever we could really put, we just put it in front of the door, hoping the shooter won't come in. Really, it's just scary. God was watching over us that day.
Now, the judge initially said that Colt's 4 felony murder charges came with a maximum penalty of death or life in prison with or without parole. He then called him back inside the courtroom to state since he's underage, he can't face the death penalty. Colt and his father are due back in court on December 4th.
Well, it is the latest example of prosecutors holding parents responsible for their children's alleged actions in these school shootings. In April, Jennifer and James Crumbly were both sentenced to at least 10 years in prison for not securing a firearm and acting indifferently to signs of their son's deteriorating mental health before he killed 4 students in 2021. And this week's shooting is also drawing attention to the school's use of a panic button system that alerted police directly to that threat, and they'd only had it for a week. The same system is being used right here in Kentucky. In fact, Meade County Schools was the first to issue these safety badges to its staff in February, the first in the state. And since then, 6 other districts have followed, including Henderson County and Campbellsville Independent. So this is how it works. The teachers wear those badges with 2 alerts available. One to notify administrators of incidents like students fighting or medical emergencies. That second issues a campus-wide lockdown alert for extreme situations that also notifies 911 dispatch immediately. Police in Georgia said this week this system, no doubt, saved countless lives. JCPS says it has increased building security over at Marion Seymour High School today as police investigate a social media threat made overnight. Moore's principal said additional officers are at that school while JCPS police and LMPD determine if the threat is credible. If it is determined a student made that post, they could face criminal charges. The principal said if you or your student sees or hears anything that concerns you for the safety of our school and our community, please share with a staff member immediately. Well, there are new developments in the federal retrial of Brett Hinson. Prosecutors hope new documents filed will show the former Metro Police detective had a pattern of reckless behavior on the job. That included the botched raid on Breonna Taylor's apartment in 2020 when she was killed. Prosecutors said Hinson had 2 prior incidents which they believe put fellow officers and civilians at risk. The first in 2016 while Hinson was part of a narcotics investigation. SWAT officers were there to make an an arrest while he and narcotics detectives were instructed to form a perimeter. Court documents said Hinson did not join that perimeter, but instead drew his handgun and ran between the suspect and SWAT team members who had their rifles drawn. A few months later, in May of 2017, court documents said SWAT officers were performing an undercover operation at a barbershop on Dixie Highway. As officers were waiting for customers to leave, they said Hinson aggressively entered that scene, driving the wrong way down the street. They said he had his gun pointed out of his window, blocked in a customer who was trying to leave, and then started yelling at them, blowing the whole SWAT team's cover. Hinson's first federal trial was declared a mistrial. The retrial on 2 counts of civil rights violations and use of excessive force begins next month. Federal investigators have ended their search of a property in Nelson County in connection to the 2015 disappearance of Crystal Rogers in Bardstown. The sheriff confirmed they were searching for her remains. Our Sky 11 drone showed the FBI operation underway on Whitesides Road, a property formerly owned by Brooks Houck's grandmother, Anna Whitesides. Houck is the lead suspect in this case, and Whiteside's involvement in this case was called into question about 8 years ago when police pointed to her car as a possible piece of evidence. She later died, and the focus on Thursday was a small area near her property's tree line. Because search warrants are sealed in this case, there's no guarantee we will ever know what, if anything, investigators found. The next court date for the 3 suspects in this case is scheduled for October. A judge in the cases surrounding former Clark County Sheriff Jamie Knoll just decided his wife and daughter Misty and Casey Knoll will have separate trials. According to Clark County Court Administrator Tom Lowe, Misty did not waive her right to a 12-person jury yesterday, and she would have needed to do that if she wanted to join her case with her daughters, who will have a 6-person jury. The difference in the jury selection is all based on the charges each of them are facing. Kentucky's about to enter a new phase with medical marijuana, and the race is on to secure a dispensary license. Governor Andy Beshear just revealed nearly 5,000 applications have been filed statewide, but those applicants are competing for fewer than 50 licenses. Our Taylor Wood spoke to a business owner hoping to get one.
502 Hemp Wellness Center in Middletown sells THC gummies, CBD oil, and more. Dee Taylor is amazed at the thousands of applications from people hoping to get a slice of medical cannabis in Kentucky.
The numbers are crazy. I would not have expected that much.
Taylor is the CEO and founder of 502 Hemp Wellness Center. She's been selling legal hemp products for the past 6 years and is one of thousands of people waiting to find out if she'll get approved for one of the 2 licenses available in Louisville to sell medical cannabis.
With that many people vying for one dispensary, or 2 dispensaries here, I'm not really worried about it. I'm not losing any sleep over it.
630 applications for a dispensary license were submitted for this region.
But most regions only get 4 dispensaries, and that's it. And some counties have already opted out of even getting one.
Governor Andy Beshear announced 4,998 applications were submitted to either cultivate, process, dispense, and test medical cannabis. Kentucky has collected over $20 million in non-refundable fees, and with an overwhelming amount of applications, a lottery will start in October.
The most important thing is that we do it right, and we do it safely.
Jennifer Dunnigan depends on medical cannabis for epilepsy, cerebral palsy, and gastroparesis.
I have good days, and then I have bad days, and then there's really bad days.
Dunnigan has to drive to Cincinnati just to get treatment. She's concerned about the limited number of dispensary licenses in Kentucky.
It's not going to be near enough.
No matter who is chosen for a license, Taylor hopes Kentuckians win.
I really hope that we create the jobs that we need and we get the patients the help that they need.
It will be a new job description for Kentucky. Taylor Woods, WHAS11 on your side.
Beshear also said the new Office of Medical Cannabis is reviewing these applications, and because there were so many, 20 additional people will be added to the staff to help with that workload. Well, one concern in this process has been the possibility of application stacking. We dove into those laws, working to keep that from happening, and you can find a link to John's report in this story on our homepage.